Hello, hello, everybody. How is everything on this beautiful Tuesday? Welcome in, everybody. How are you guys doing this beautiful Tuesday evening? Oh my God. All right. So we're having a great show today. Today's gonna be a good show. Um, I don't know about you guys, but as you're coming in, I want you to put out there what is a port of call that you will never go back to, or if you go, you will never leave the ship. Welcome in, everybody. That is what the show is all about. For those of you that do not know me and you're here brand new, my name is Jackie. I also go as Tinkerbell. I am a travel agent, and this is our live show on Tuesday evening for Traveling with Tinkerbell. Welcome in, Harlan. Welcome in, Jen and Miss Mama Nancy. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here today. It's going to be a great live stream. I can't wait. It's just been crazy. I literally got off the phone with a client maybe like 5 minutes ago, guys. That's how crazy it's been over here, but we're going to move forward. And today we're going to be talking about the worst ports of calls. And like I was saying, if you have a port of call that you didn't like, hello, Miss Donnell, thank you so much for being here. If there was a port of call that you didn't like, or maybe that you might have liked, and maybe not, you don't want to go back to, put it in the comments, and that way other people can check out that information. I actually have a couple of personal ports of calls that I probably won't go back to, and I'm going to be giving you guys some more information on that as well. But for the meantime, I was reading an article that came out that it says the worst ports of calls for cruise ship tourists to just stay on the ship, which is kind of weird, right? When you read that kind of stuff, like why are they saying to stay on the ship? But I figured that, bring this information out to you guys. And then I have, towards the end of our show, I have an actual announcement for next week's show. So we're going to announce that down the road for you guys to have that information, because you guys don't want to miss next week's show. You want to be here. You want to be on time, because next week's show is going to be not only fabulous, but we actually have a really cool guest that is going to be coming to this show next week. So with that being said, we're going to start off the show, and we're going to just talk about the worst ports of calls, which I think I found a couple of them on this article that, I could say yes to. I have not been to all of them. So I'm just going to give you this information, and, hopefully you guys maybe jot down some information about this. And if you're there, then you can maybe decide if you want to get off the ship, or maybe just go explore and see if this is really like real news. So could you imagine, after you're here, you're preparing for your vacation, for your perfect cruise, you're dreaming about, all the cool stuff that, that you want to check out. But one of the things that we don't think about is, what do these ports look like? Are you like a person that research, what the port looks like? Because I tell you something, when I'm going to book a cruise and I'm going to go to a port that I've never been, I actually go on Google Maps, rarely so, and I actually zoom in and I want to see what's around there, kind of see like the areas and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys do something like that, but not all the ports of calls are places where you really want to port at, if you think about it. And not all of them are meant to be like, which when you get off the ship, that they have like little shops and things like that. Not all of them are like that either. Hello, Jeffy. Welcome so much for being here today. So sometimes, guys, we have to research these ports of calls and kind of look into seeing, okay, do I want to just get off the ship and kind of sightsee the area? What is in this port of call? Let me go check it out. And if you don't see that there's too much to do there, then I would suggest a short excursion, or maybe just stay on the ship, one or the other. Harlan says he looks at the maps and ports of call also. So in my experience, staying on the ship as some ports of calls can be the wisest move, guys. Hearing, different stories about different passenger, of, they're traveling and getting, pickpocketed at some places or dealing with crowds of passengers. It all depends on the different things. You also don't want to have like a terrible shore excursion or an experience on these ports of calls. Hello, Scott McNeil. Thank you so much for being here today, sir. So when I was reading this article, it really made me think about. So here are the most common factors why some destinations and exotic locations make the list of the worst ports of calls for cruise ship tourists. The lack of attraction near the cruise lines, the overcrowding when several cruise ships are in port, the pushy vendors that target the cruise tourists, the high crime rates, the poor infrastructure and inadequate facilities, the industrial atmospheres, the restrictions to go ashore, like special visas or particular clothing, and the tendering issues. Hello, Miss hello, Miss Angie from Whatever Floats Your Boat. Welcome in. As you guys know, and I'm going to stop it here at the tendering issues. I don't know if you guys heard the news, but Cayman Island is now going on a voting situation where they need all the votes that they can, so that they're trying to get an actual built an actual port of call there, so that the bigger ships can actually tender, because there's a lot of issues on the bigger ships trying to tender, because remember, they tender offshore and you got to bring these little boats back and forth. So, oh my God, Rob from Cruising on the High Seas and Travel. Hello, welcome in, sir. So they're right now going into this voting situation in Cayman Islands, and hopefully the voting goes through. I know MSC and all the cruise lines that do stop there have, I guess, advice of what they need and all of that stuff. So I'm hoping that they actually go through with the votes, and it's something that they're going to actually do, because that'll be wonderful if they actually built a port of call in Cayman Island. Not only it will bring like more tourists there, but then it's better because you don't have to worry about, getting on that long line, getting tender and all of that. It gives you a little bit more time on the ship. Getting off and on the ship is also a good for that. And also not only for us, but also for the people with accessibilities and wheelchairs and things like that. It'll be much easier for everybody. So with that being said, we're going to continue with our information here. So the worst ports of calls on a cruise, unfortunately, not every port of call is sun-soaked tropical paradise. And some of them are in the Mediterranean town. It experienced some ports that leave you feeling like you sailed through a rough sea in a storm. So after dropping the anchor, these ports are best enjoyed in the ship's luxury surrounding image spending, maybe on a spa day. You could launch around the pool, enjoy the delicious meal, and only, for your enjoyment and the surrounding of peace and quiet. We're going to start with the first port of call that is considered one of the worst one, which is Prince Rupert in Canada. I've never been to Canada. I'm not sure if you guys ever been to this port of call. And if you have, just put it in the comments. I would like to know if you ever been to this port of call. But the Canadian port of Prince Rupert is hands down the worst port of call in the Alaskan cruise itineraries. From my research, it appeared that the cruise ship often stopped their primaries to meet custom require rather than the destination itself. Despite of its beautiful surroundings, comments on the cruise centric described it as the lackluster, outdated, boring, and lacking decent infrastructure. So the best thing to do when you dock in Rupert is to admire from the ship's deck. After all, you probably won't have time to explore the ship's amenities when you glance the glaciers and the inside passage or go ashore at the Alaskan ports of Ketchikan, Sitka, or Juneau. You also you're probably too busy to start staring at awe at the landscape. Be careful of saying negative things about the so-called new 51 state. Well, you know what? It's not the 51 states, so I'm not saying anything negative. This is something that actually came out, Rob, as the worst ports of call, and it's an article that came out. So I don't know. The next one, guys, and I know this one you guys have visited, And you're going to say, what? Maybe some of you guys might like this protocol, and maybe some of you guys might say it is true. Belize City in Belize is the number 2 port of call. And this is why. Belize may sound like an exotic cruise destination on the Southern Caribbean cruise, but reality is disappointing. The cruise passenger described dirty and chaotic conditions, riddle, and aggressive vendors, according to warnings from the U.S. government in Belize. If you feel the urge to disembark in Belize City, always book a cruise line shore excursion. Or other cruise notice, the capital of Belize is a sad place unless you have planned a specific excursion. It is best to stay on board to enjoy the ship's amenity, and it's wise to advise from an experienced cruise passenger. So I'm not sure if you guys have been to Belize or not. I've actually have been to Belize, and I actually gotten off in Belize. And you know what? I never found it to be a worse port of call. But weirdly so, Belize is one of those places that you see a lot in the different itineraries. So at least that's my take on when it comes to Belize. I enjoyed it when I went. I didn't see anything wrong with it. But according to, this article, Belize is in there. The number 3, Ensenada, Mexico. Have you guys been to Ensenada, Mexico? I have not been there yet. The joke about Ensenada, Mexico is that it's Spanish for stay on the ship. Do not disembark the ship expecting to experience Mexico's vibrant atmosphere and rich cultural heritage. Instead, you enter a poor city filled with beggars, aggressive vendors, and rundown stores. I've never been to Ensenada. I'm not sure if you guys have ever been. And if you have, let us know if this is actually accurate or not. So if you feel the urge to disembark, book a short excursion in Ensenada, Mexico. Now, this one took me by surprise, guys. Colón, Panama. I've always wanted to visit Panama, and I've always wanted to go to Colón, but they saying Colón is in the eastern Panama coast. It is not worth visiting unless you want to experience one of the worst ports in the Central America. It is a greedy industrial city lacking tourist-friendly areas, despite Panama being famous for tropical beaches, exotic birds, and lush landscape. Colón doesn't reflect this idyllic picture, and it is best viewed from a safety of a cruise ship. Have you guys been to Colón? I've never been there, so I don't know how true this is. I might have to go over there and do my homework and check it out. Okay, another port is Santa Marta, Colombia. I actually been to Cartagena and I loved it. Never been to Santa Marta, Colombia, but a little bit about this information and this port. Santa Monica, Colombia is described as a gateway to the Tayrona National Natural Park. So for the port features on this cruise itinerary, it is best idea to book an excursion to the national park. The port city is primarily an industrial hub, unlike the picture-perfect landscape and beautiful beaches nearby the Caribbean islands. So for the most frequent description of Santa Monica include is it's a little bit noisy. You might be disappointed. Some of the cruisers comment some feelings about the city, and this city is busy with a lot of traffic and a lot of noise. We venture off the ship and only to return early, which we stayed on board. So there you guys have it for that port. Now, let's talk a little bit if we go a little further and we go into Brazil. I've never been to Brazil, not sure if you guys have, but Santos, Brazil is another port of call on this list. What images does Brazil conjure up? Coffee, samba, party, and soccer. If you don't expect to see them in a port of Santos, the industrial part is nothing to see near the terminal, and the journey to Sao Paulo is long and tiring, leaving you exhausted. So in that way, if you want to go to Sao Paulo, it is an hour and 30-minute bus journey to the city, which is 1 hour and a half to go and 1 hour and a half to come back. So that's 3 hours of you just being on the road just to get to the city. And I have friends of mine that live in Sao Paulo, and it is beautiful, guys. And like I said, I personally never been, but I have friends that lived over there, and they said that they loved it. So, but you have to, like, in this part, you're porting over here, but you got to journey an hour and a half just to see it. So that's a long drive. But if you want to do it, then, there are ways to doing it. Another port in Brazil is Salvador de Bahia. That's another port where it says the capital of the state of Bahia in Brazil, Salvador, is frequently featured on South America cruise itineraries. Despite the rich history, the port doesn't reflect the Afro-Brazilian culture. Cruise comments about the streets being a little bit dirty, sense of some neglect, more worryingly than report aggressive behavior towards tourists in the city. If you decide to get off the cruise ship in Salvador, make sure you book a short excursion rather than explore the city on your own. So there you guys have that one. Another one is Albania. Albania is another port that is on this list. Many cruises in the Mediterranean rate Albanian ports, especially in Sarande, as the worst of the region. You probably didn't book a Mediterranean cruise to see half-built apartment blocks, stray dogs, a little bit of trash in the streets, and walking around the city feels unsafe, making you wish you never left the ship. Going ashore in Saranda is worth the time on the tender ride ashore, so it's best to enjoy the stunning views of the Ionian Sea from the comfort of the Lido deck and your balcony cabin. A popular cruise blogger said, Saranda is pretty from afar, but small town offers nothing. Not sure what that blogger was, but they didn't put his name on here, but that's the information that, pretty much you get. Another one, if you ever visit France, the port of Brest is another, according to the several cruise forums. Brest in France is an underwhelming port on the European cruise itinerary. It seems that the problems with visiting the city start disembarkation, preparing to deal with irregular shuttle buses and attractive architectural and lack of tourist-friendly amenities. I don't know. That's a little bit, on that France port. I know I'm going to be going over there, but we don't have that port in our itinerary. The next one is Tunisia. Tunisia may feature the Southern Mediterranean cruise itineraries. However, the port experience gets bad rap from most cruise passengers. I read reports about aggressive, rude, and some, people with some behavioral issues that are from the port officials. It seems that the port are chaotic, undeveloped, and unsafe. And when I was looking at it on the map, it doesn't look like it's just like a port, but it doesn't look like if it's like they need a little bit more, I guess, on that port to make it a little bit better. But I don't know how many actual cruise passengers travel there, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. So Alexandria, which is in Egypt, made it to this list. If you think Alexandria will be a cultural highlight to explore on foot, however, it seems that the city is disappointing protocols. Of course, the city has spectacular landmark and a great library at the catacombs of Qom. And but unless you book a short excursion, the chaos in the city is a little bit overwhelming. I sometimes wonder, when I was reading this article, I wonder how many people did they ask, I guess, cruisers, and, how did they become, they built this article, and what statistics did they use when writing this article down. Since we're still in the ports of Egypt, the port of Sed. The port of Sed features the Suez Canal cruise, but it's an industrial port that offers little tourist appeal. The best cruise comments sums that the port, that up to the port says experience that is in the port endures not joy. I discovered that some cruise passengers book short excursions to Cairo and the pyramids. However, it is tiring 6 to 8 hour journey with little time to experience ancient Egypt history. Man, that must be very sad, because if you think about it, you're going to stop at this port and it takes you that long, to just get to a place that you kind of like probably want to see and things like that, and you have very little time to experience. So maybe I can understand why that port made it to the, to this list. Another one is, we're going now to Morocco. If you're ever visiting Morocco, there is a port there that many cruise itineraries includes the industrial port of Morocco on the southern Mediterranean cruise itinerary, but it seems that stepping off the ship will ruin your vacation. The taxis and shuttle buses run different types of schedules and are expensive, although tourists generally feel unsafe walking the streets. The only highlight seems to be the North African largest urban market, but it's worth visiting if you look for a relaxing cruise experience. Cruisers describe it as a bustling market for over 6,000 shops. However, I read reports and that some vendors could be a little bit haggling and a little bit aggressive when selling to you. Another port in Morocco that made it here is the Casablanca. I've never heard of that port. That you guys have ever heard of that port? I've never heard of them. But Casablanca evokes romantic images of Hollywood glamour and sophistication. But for more cruises, the reality of overcrowded streets, aggressive vendors, and distract lack of charm. Its architecture is more Casablanca than beautiful Paris, and the ambience of the finest restaurants as a smoky, constant smoking is in the film. Interesting. So we're going to go a little bit further, and we're going to talk about Saudi Arabia. There is a port over there that made it to the list. Saudi Arabia is a popular cruise port for Suez Canal cruise between the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean. However, excessive restrictions for cruise tourists make the city feel unwelcome. Here is the list of the things that you cannot do onshore of hold on. Here is the list of the things that you cannot do on a shore excursion if you visit this port. So jot this down. Drink alcohol or take drugs. Make display of public affection. Wear clothing revealing knees and shoulder. Wearing tight-fit clothing or clothing with curse words or offensive images. Showing religious jewelry, including crucifixes or the Star of David. Interesting, right? When you go into a different port. But that's some of the things that you should not wear or do, or take any alcohol or anything like that while you're on this port. Because of restricted atmosphere, Islam law is strictly enforced. Many cruisers decide to stay on board. And if you're a drinker, the only alcohol you may drink is what is stashed in your mini bar. All bars are closed in port. Wait a minute. All bars are closed in port. So they actually got bars, but they're closed while you're visiting. That's kind of a little strange, but I guess. Another port that made it onto here is the port of Cambodia. I've never been that far. Not sure if you guys have ever been this far, but typically the ports of South Asia cruises promise white sand beaches and vibrant color atmospheres. Unfortunately, you will not find any of that during the port day here. Once quaint fishing village is now a sprawling, unorganized urban development characterized by plastic and a little bit of sewage waste. Jeffy says, I think that means the bars on the ships are closed while on port. I guess, that's what that means. It's just strange, that when you're reading this article, it's just like a little weird that, that you have that. So here are some of my thoughts when it comes to this article. When researching, the article, I discovered that some cruise ship passengers list may be a destination to the worst cruise ship port. However, guys, everybody's opinion is a little bit, everybody's opinion is different. Like sometimes, you might like a cruise better than other people might like a port more than others and things like that. For example, like some passengers have excellent experiences booking these shore excursions. And, even if the cruise ship ports in an industrial port, because I remember when I went, hello, M&T Living. When I went to Cartagena, Colombia, it was an industrial port. When it comes to the Mediterranean ports, I personally have never been there, so I cannot, actually speak about those ports. And I know even though when you read these articles, I don't put all my like beliefs in it because I've never been, so I always like to try it out. Everybody has a different opinion, and therefore, always research the ports that you're going thoroughly and learn as much about the place that you're going to be visiting. And believe it or not, guys, just keep in mind that sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the times when we're cruising, we're actually going outside of the United States. They have different laws. They have different situations that you might not be aware of. Keep in mind, hello, cruise nuts, welcome in. Keep in mind to always, kind of have it in mind that you're in a different place. Try to stay always safe. That will be my thing to tell you guys. Always be safe. Check out the laws in that area just in case if something were to happen, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You see it all the time, guys, in the news. So you see it all the time in the news that, different situations, like that one guy one time that he had a bullet inside of his luggage. He didn't even have a gun. He just had a bullet, and he went to jail for that kind of a thing. So keep in mind all the different things that, that might happen while you're cruising. You don't want to end up in a pickle out there and then you have like nobody there to help you. So always research the ports of calls. Like I do, go on Google Maps, check to see what is around that port, and just do your research. And like Cruise Nut said here, and I agree with him at 110%, always carry travel insurance. I will say this to you guys because I just had this experience like last week. I went to take my daughter Sophie to get her passport renewal. And it was the first time that the gentleman that helped me at the postal service told me, you need to get her a passport card. And we're going to recommend it going forward because of everything that's going down now in the world that we live in. He's like, especially when you're going outside of the United States, because I told him that I was going to Europe. He's like, make sure that you guys keep a passport card because you could leave your passport book in the safe, but at least with your passport card, if anything were to happen or anything that you get stranded over there or whatever, at least you have proof, that you are an American and that you have a passport card. You could go to the embassy over there and things like that. So always, if you're thinking of purchasing a brand new passport, which they change, they're no different than what it was before. So it's a brand new passport. Maybe spend that extra $30 and get yourself the passport card. At least you can have that in your wallet at all times. Kimberly Lova, welcome in, my love. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure that, you keep that passport in your wallet. It's only going to cost you an extra $30. And at least you have the other one safe in the cruise. But at least if something were to happen, you have at least something with you, and I do agree with Kim. She said also no camels, U.S. Army, etc., closing hats in some ports. I do agree with you, Kim, on that. So just keep in mind, because we over here are, we do the countdown. We're happy. We're going cruising. We sometimes don't even research, don't know anything. And then you get to these ports of calls and then, your life can change, guys. Your life can change in a minute and you don't even see it coming. So make sure even when you're possibly renting a car or possibly renting a little moped, keep in mind that sometimes the driving is on the left instead of the right, and their laws are completely different. I don't know if you guys remember another case. The two ladies that live here in Tampa, they went to Mexico on a vacation. They rented a moped. They got into a horrible accident. They ended up in the hospital, almost $80,000 worth of medical expenses down the road, no travel insurance, no passport. It was a hot mess to try to get them back to the United States. Thankfully that we got them back. They were put in Tampa General and they're all recovered now, but I don't even want to know the bill that they have that they're probably paying today. So travel insurance is always a must. I know it's a little bit of an expense, But if you're a person that travels a lot or cruise a lot, Allianz, guys, Allianz will be the best travel protection for you guys. It's not that I work for Allianz or anything like that, but that's the one that I use as a travel agent, and it works for me and my family. I buy it once a year and I'm done and over with. And if something were to happen, just look at the different prices that they have, because even if you travel once or twice, it'll probably be a better pricing at Allianz than you purchasing your own travel protection. Always check it out. And if you have questions, you can always call me and I can always help you with any questions that you have. That's the whole point of having this channel, and that's the whole point of coming together to answer all of this questions. Yes, in St. Croix, you could tell a lot of people kept forgetting which side of the road on the drive. Yeah, because sometimes, we're so used to a USA, we're so used to driving over here. And when you get over there, you think it's all fun and game. And then when you're there, you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? So, it's one of those things that you have to keep in mind. You're in a different country altogether. Their laws are not even near our laws over here. So we just got to keep that in mind. Make sure you're always safe. Make sure you always keep yourself surrounded with other people. Make sure that if you're a person that is traveling solo, trying to not go places on your own, especially in different ports of calls. We have heard news, I think sometime last year, where a passenger went on a taxi, got on a taxi. I think this was in Mexico. I'm not sure if it was in Cozumel or not. I don't remember, where exactly in Mexico this whole situation happened. But I remember hearing that it was a customer that was on a cruise that went and got a taxi, and they requested his credit card. And when they charged his credit card, they overly charge for more because, you don't know, what the difference in their Mexican pesos versus the USA. So they charge him all this ridiculous amount of money. Thank God that it was his credit card and it was not a debit card. So he immediately contacted the credit card company and they canceled, he actually put a cancellation on that purchase and stuff like that. But keep in mind, you don't travel on your own. And if you're going to travel solo, see if there's other people on the ship that you might want to, get on a taxi, but don't get on it by yourself because you're in a different area. You don't know these people. You don't know anything like that. So I always tell everybody, try to maintain yourself safe. And if you don't feel safe where you are, then move from there, find other people that can surround you. So, you just got to be proactive when you're traveling because, all we thinking is about the good and the fun and the beaches and the different shore excursions and checking everything out and maybe, blogging, taking pictures, whatever. But your mind is not thinking about what's going on around your surroundings. So when I was reading about the worst ports of calls, I said, I'm going to do that show because it's kind of like cool to know. And also to hear from you guys. What has been your port of call that you don't like? I have a couple, and I'm going to share what the ports of calls that I've actually been there and I actually didn't like and the reason why I didn't like it. So my first one will be Grenada. So if you guys been with their channels here for a while, I always talk about Grenada. In Grenada, we were doing a 14-day journeys cruise on the Carnival Breeze, my daughter and I. And we stopped in Grenada. We were going to do a, oh my God, what is this thing called? It's a river tubing. And when we were going, it was like really early in the morning. We left port like around 7:45 in the morning and we were driving up the mountain. Everything was fine and dandy. The excursion went fantastic. I don't have no problems with the excursions. But on the way there, and it's weird because we passed by this bar and there was a little bit of traffic. We passed by this bar and it was like, it's probably like 8:15 at this point. And the cops were on the side of the road trying to gather this guy that was there. And the guy jumped on our bus and half of his leg went in through the window. It was a hot commotion, let me tell you. People were like all over the place screaming inside the bus and everything. But, the cops pulled them back and, everything was fine. We made it there. We came back. But that's not even what cost my situation of never going back to Grenada. What really cost it is like when you're inside of the port, like all the local people were inside of the port with you, and a couple of fights, brew in there, and it was just horrific. And I told my daughter, never again, when I come to Grenada, I'm getting off the ship. That was my experience. Maybe your experience might be different. But Kim over here says, camouflage not permitted in Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. That's good to know. And she said that her ports of calls is the Bahamas and the Philippines as well. Look, Harding is like the Port of Grenada either. Yeah, Harding, I'm with you there. I am with you there. But it was one of those, it was crazy, guys, because the port is not like if it's small. But why are the locals inside of the port? It was just beyond me. And then they charge you $1 if you want to use the bathroom. They charge you $1 for that. And it was mainly like the young kids fighting with other people because they were trying to sell things, and it was just crazy. But that's one of the port of calls that I will probably, if we dock there, I probably won't get off the ship and we'll just stay in on board. Another of the ports of calls that I wasn't very thrilled with was Montego Bay. And if you guys just watched my last vlog last week of Montego Bay, it shows you that on that, there's like barely like nothing there. It's nothing wrong with Montego Bay. There's nothing wrong with the port of, Jamaica and Montego Bay, because we could have done an excursion, which we had an excursion, but it got canceled on us and we couldn't go. But if you're ever stopping in Montego Bay, I do suggest you need to get an excursion, because there's nothing to do there in Montego Bay. And if Cruise Nuts is still here, we were there. We just spent the day on the back of the ship just talking, and I vlogged a little bit and things like that. But that's one of the ports of calls that I do highly suggest to get a short excursion for sure on that one. Oh, Donnell, you don't like Roatan. Can you just tell me a little bit why is it that you don't like Roatan? I actually been to Roatan, and the only thing that I did was the sloth there, and I had a great time. I wasn't too out there with the port, but it was okay. But that was the only experience that I actually had in Roatan. I didn't actually did a lot around the port because we kind of like left the ship. We went to see the sloths and all of that stuff, and then we came back. Roatan has changed a lot, said Jeffy. In what way, Jeffy? Can you put in there? I think we've done everything we could do already in Montego Bay. Look, Cruise Nuts, I'm with you there. I love Jamaica, and I've been there. I was really looking forward to we were going to go to the Good Hope Estate, and I was actually looking forward to taking my son there and my mom, because they've never been. But that got canceled because not a lot of people wanted to go there, which I don't understand why. It's a great place to go. If you ever go to Jamaica, if you've never been to the Good Hope Estate, I suggest you try it. It's very relaxing. It's nothing like big or out of the ordinary, but it has like a pool area, this really nice water area that they have like this cascade of water, like a waterfall. It's really cute. It was very nice. At Montego Bay, no need to get off the ship. They're really aggressive at the port vendors and transportation. Got it. Okay. If you go on an NCO, they dock at Coxon Hole. It's crazy once you get off the port. Ooh, I've never heard that. It's crazy once you get out to the port. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. So now you guys know, make sure you write these information down. So if you're ever going on NCL and you're going to Roatan, then that's where you will probably end up at. No different, guys, than when you go to Amber Cove, I think it is. Either Amber Cove or La Romana, one of those. I think it's La Romana. Which we port in La Romana, and then Royal Caribbean and Celebrity port more towards the downtown area. There's two different ports. Jesse said it's grown and they've added more shops and things to do. First time I went was in 2019 and it was okay. Then I went back in 2023 and it grew. And I went in 2024 and it really grew. It's gotten better. Okay, so that's good to know. Thank you, Jeffy, for sharing that. and for Roatan. I know that some of these ports, we travel on these ports more and more throughout the year, and sometimes we hit the same ports that we've been before. I don't know about you guys and how you guys do your cruises, but at least for me, when I go there the first time, and this is something that you guys are going to know about me today, I like history. So I like to go see everything that has to do with history. And then the second time that I'm there, then I pick something completely different to do. I try not to go to all the beaches because I don't want it to be all about the beaches. So I like the history first and then other things, and check out, I like to check out the port surroundings and things like that. And then I like to adventure, and I like to do excursions of things that I normally won't have here in Florida to do. So like when we went to Aruba, we did the natural pool. Guys, if you've never done that and you are adventurous, I suggest you try it. And they do have an excursion, and I do suggest you take the ship excursion for the natural beach. They do have a way that you can get there as well. They have an outside excursion with Jeeps or 4-tracks that you can do as well outside of the cruise line. So if you're staying in port, like sometimes Aruba is a long port day, like from 8 to 11 o'clock at night. So if you have a long port day, I do suggest you try it, because it's going to give you time to go to the natural pool, and then it's going to give you time to kind of see the nightlife in Palm Beach, and then you get back on board, and then you can go back, on at sea. So those are, it's information for you guys. If you've never been to the natural pool, I suggest you try it. It is really cool. It's an actual pool that it was created by the ocean, and you're inside of the ocean, and it's really, really nice. So I had a really good time with my daughter when we went there. I do the same. I like to explore and tours that give me info, history about the port. Yeah, you have to, because it's places that you've never been. So I like to listen about the history. I also like to talk to the actual to the people that live there. I like to be able to talk to them, get some information. I like to know where is the best places to eat, what is it that they like. And it's really nice when you talk to the local people, because you get so much information from them than you kind of like researching. So in that way, guys, it's like, you get the best of both worlds, and it's amazing. Like I enjoy going to Curacao because over there, I don't know if you guys know, there's more. Well, back in the time, like 2017, there are about 75 different nationalities. Now there's 130 something. So could you imagine how many different nationalities live in that little island? It's beyond like, and to know that it's so beautiful to go to this port of call and to kind of like enjoy and see, everybody coming together as one. It's really cool, and it's a nice place. They're actually building new things in the port of Curacao. And look at here, Mr. Scott saying in 17 days to ABC. Scott, you're going to have a great time. You are definitely going to have a great time in that. And I love the ABC Islands. It's just beautiful. And if you guys never been to Aruba or Curacao, guys, at least try it at least one time in your life. You will not get disappointed. When I went on Celebrity Beyond last year, around this same time last year, let me tell you guys, it was the best cruise I've ever done, because we did a 1.5 day in Aruba. So we got there about noon, and we did not leave till the next day about midnight. So we got there. Martina and I, we went sightseeing around the port. We checked out everything we needed to check out. We came back. We had dinner on the ship, and then we got dressed, and then we went to Palm Beach, and it was amazing. So if you check out those vlogs from Aruba, from the Beyond, you guys gonna see how much fun it was in Palm Beach. And it was nice because we actually took a kind of like one of those buses that have drinks and all of that. He was getting ready to leave the port, and he says, "Oh, I'll drop you guys off at Palm Beach." And he only charged us like $5 to get there, and we had the music going on, and it was very nice. So if you see that vlog, you're gonna see how much fun it was. And Palm Beach at night gets lit, guys. It's no different than you going to Miami, South Beach over here in Miami. Yeah, Kim. Sometimes if you look at the itineraries, you do have itineraries that be in Aruba for like a day and a half. And that was just the one night. The next day, Martina and I got up early. We went to Palm Beach and we enjoyed the beach there. Then we walked around the Palm Beach area. We did a little bit of shopping. We had some lunch at TGIF. Don't ask me why TGIF, but I was in the mood for some ribs. So we ate there. We could have eaten everywhere or anywhere else, but we ate there and it was a lot of fun. But let me tell you, it was the best cruise I've ever done. And it made a stop in Colombia, Cartagena, which it was even better. It was a better highlight. Colombia became another one of my best ports to visit. And I do recommend it to all of you guys to at least visit Cartagena at least one time. It is so pretty, so much history there. It's just full with a lot of information. And I just loved it. And I'm actually looking forward to our cruise in June. I'm looking forward to visiting all the historical sites in Rome and Sicily, in the different places we're going to go. It's going to be a long trip. So I'm going to be bringing you guys along on that trip. I'm just still trying to figure out, because I wanted to do live streaming from the different ports of calls, but I know that our time is a little bit different. So I'm trying to figure out right now whether I want to just vlog it and then put it in as a vlog, because I don't think that anybody's going to be up to see it live at the time that I'm going to be filming it. So that's something that I'm trying to figure out, for you guys when it comes to that in June. Look, Jeff D is excited because he's actually coming along on that journey. So you got to keep on his channel, because he's going to be putting stuff on his channel here soon as well. So with that being said, I know it is 46 minutes and we're actually 47 minutes in. I will tell you a little bit about next Tuesday and who's going to be coming to our show next Tuesday. I'm super excited that I'm going to have these two guests in our show. And this is going to be a little spoil alert for you guys. The thumbnail is going to be coming anytime between tonight and tomorrow for this next coming up Tuesday. I need you guys to mark, put a notify on it. Make sure that you guys are here on time, because next week we're going to be having as a guest JJ Cruz, guys. Jordan and Jared will be here and Traveling with Tinkerbell. We're going to get to talk to them. We're going to get to do a little bit, get to know them a little bit more. We have an interview for them. So we are preparing. To spend the time with JJ Cruz here in the Traveling with Tinkerbell community. And I'm hoping that you guys spread the word to everybody out there to come in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we're going to be here with them, and we're going to be chit-chatting and talking and having a lot of laughs. And I just have a lot of questions and things like that. So if you have a question that you want to ask JJ Cruz, just send it to me, or maybe put it on the comments on Tuesday. So prepare for that show. It's going to be great. It's going to be one of those shows that is going to be amazing. So, yep, prepare. Let the world know that we are going to be having them here. It's going to be a fun time on Tuesday. Thank you, Danielle. I know that you guys love JJ Cruz, and they are just wonderful. I've been watching their channel since they went on Adventure of the Seas when they started. They're almost at 80,000 subscribers now. So yeah, they're getting up there, and it's just going to be a blessing just to talk to them and get to know them a little bit more, get to laugh and talk about all the fun stuff that they do. So that's part of, I'm letting you guys know, so that way you can spread the word and let everybody know. So we're going to put it on the social medias and all of that stuff. And we're super excited. We are so excited to have them, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So prepare and mark your calendars for next week. Don't do anything between that time because you want to come here and enjoy that time. So yeah, guys. So that's what, we have all that information about the port of calls. Share your link and I will share it. Thank you, Cruise Nuts. We're going to put the thumbnail tonight. Hopefully we're almost done with it. And as soon as it's done, I'll send you a message, and that way if you can share it, I would appreciate it, Mike, from the bottom of my heart. I'm trying to get as many people as they can. This is going to be really something big for our channel to have them here. And I am super thankful and super blessed with both Jordan and Jared. When I asked, hey, you guys want to come? They have a very hectic schedule. So we've been trying to do this for a little bit. So finally we have a date. So it is set. So I'm super excited. I can't wait till next Tuesday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Miss Nancy, you got to tell Keith, because I haven't told Keith about it yet. So you got to let him know. I will watch the replay for next Tuesday when I get back from my side-by-side cruise. Ooh, Carnival Magic and Celebration. Okay, you're gonna be great because you're gonna be on a cruise, Kim. You're gonna be on a cruise. Then you can watch the replay. You're gonna be having a great time. You're not even gonna be thinking about it. When is your next cruise, guys? I know that Scott said that he was about 17 days. I think I saw Angie said that she's about 20 days out from her next cruise. My next adventure is next Friday on my birthday, guys. Next Friday, I will be going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm going to go visit my dad for a whole week. So Tinkerbell is going to be in Puerto Rico for a whole week next month. Then in March, I'm going to be visiting Missouri. So we might have some vlogs in Missouri. I'm going to go visit my grandson in March. Then April, we're going to be on the World America in April, from April 9th to the 12th. Then it's going to be our group cruise on the Carnival Celebration. It's going to be our group cruise. And then let me see, what else do we have? May. And then in June, it's going to be the 15 or 16 days tour of land and cruise tour in Rome and Italy and Spain and Paris. So we have a lot going on. And let me see, I don't know what I have for the rest of the year, but I have a couple more that I cannot talk about yet. I'm still working on those 2 cruises, but I might be trying the Margaritaville, guys, for you guys. So that might be something that it might be coming. And then we have a 4-day in December. It's going to be New York City. So we're going to be traveling to New York. So my schedule is getting almost there. February 16 on the Carnival Magic for fun. Woo! And 7-day cruise. Ooh, that's going to be nice. I know Harlan, Missouri is an amazing place. We want to do a back-to-back on the Islander. Mike, I'll let you know what day I'm going, and maybe we can work something out and we can meet together and travel together again. I had a great time with you and Tracy, and I would love to see you guys again and maybe sail again together. Yep, it's getting very busy, guys. There's a lot going on with work, and I'm just trying to figure out some stuff. But I do know that there's some more cruises down the road that I'm going to be taking. I just haven't finished getting all the information for that. But yeah, guys, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'll let you know, Mike, for sure, the dates when I find them. And then if you guys are able to do it, then maybe we can coordinate. And if you can't do that then, and if we have to move it, we'll figure something out so we can all meet again and enjoy some cruise time. we'll be meeting at the Lido, you know. I wonder who says that. we just gave them you know, a thumbs up. Go check them out. You know who they are. If you know, you know. It's one of those things, you know, that you know, you have different vloggers that have different types of sayings and different things. And now, you know, that one vlogger, guys, that I just say, you know, I see you on the Lido. Hey, you got to go check out his program, because now he's even dancing for you guys. I love it. I just love watching, you know, we're talking about La Lita Loca, obviously. So shout out to La Lita Loca. Shout out to Jenny and Tony. I just enjoy Tony and his craziness. Now he has the dance moves that he does. So that's pretty cool. A little shout out, right? It's a little shout out. Don't hurt don't hurt. It just makes you stronger and makes you bigger in the community. So sometimes we got to do the shout out to the right peeps out there. So yeah, so it's just been fun. Like tomorrow we have Across the Waves. What port are we doing tomorrow? Let me go check real quick. Tomorrow we're gonna be in the port of Athens. Is tomorrow. Ooh, the port of Athens. So we gotta have to check that out tomorrow for sure. We're going to the port of Athens, and we're gonna bring you everything that we need to bring you from that port of call. And you might want to be here for that, because if you ever going to Athens, then that's information that you need to know. I'm not going to Athens anytime soon, but we have Athens there. It's beautiful. Greece is nice to visit. One day I want to make it over there and be able to actually see it, you know, and all of that. But I think whenever I go to Greece, I might take a few days before a cruise, because I want to be able to see where they have those blue things and all of that. I forgot where that place is, but eventually I'll research it when I'm going down that way and be able to go there. But Martine yesterday was talking to John. He's a client of mine that actually I had a really nice dinner with John yesterday. He's right now on the Margaritaville today, and he's going to Singapore. So Martine was talking about Singapore with him, and he liked the itinerary. So Martine was thinking about it. I said, you should go. Have a good time. The problem is that he can't, because he doesn't have a lot of vacation time. But if he could, I know he would. Athens is a good place. Lots of Greek restaurants. See, Harlan, you're going to like it tomorrow. You're going to like it tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about Athens. Sparta is very interesting. See, tomorrow Harlan is going to be on point tomorrow. It's one of those one of his favorite ports of calls, and I don't blame you. Harlan is very nice. You know who I actually miss on the show? The Queen of Disney. She's actually on vacation, guys. She is here in Fort Lauderdale, so she should be back home in Canada by next week, I believe. And yeah, so if you haven't seen Samara, it's because she's on a vacation with her parents, and she's just having a great time. So probably next week you'll see her back here in the show. So hopefully she'll be back, and maybe she's watching the replays. I don't know. But if you are, Samara, we say hello to you, and then hopefully you're enjoying your vacation over there. So it's always high to say hello to the people, you know, that come into the live stream every so often, because, you know, they're vacationing. Soon here we're going to be vacationing, and we're going to be going next week to Puerto Rico. So I'm going to be doing some live streaming from over there, from some really cool places that I've actually been looking at. There's a couple of places that I've never been, and some places that I've been researching to bring you guys along. There's actually a place that I just found. I forgot what the place is called. And I'm going to try to do a small itinerary, because I'm going to go visit with my dad. But I don't think my dad have ever been here either. And they have a gigantic, I don't even know how you even say this in English. And Jeff D, I know you're here. So if you know how to say it in English, put it on the comments. But it's called a pilon. It's something that you use to do the mofongo on. And they have a gigantic one in this place. And this place is famous for that. So I want to go check it out and, you know, bring it to you guys. because if you ever on the island, then you guys can go over there and check it out. Bye, Miss Donnell. I love you, girl. Thank you so much for being here. Say hello to Jen. Give her a big hug from me. But if you've never been, then you might want to check it out. So I want to go check out that place and check out all the cool things. Well, our hour is already here. So I will see you guys next week. I will see you back tomorrow and Across the Wave in the port of Athens. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will see you tomorrow. Please, guys, stay safe. I love you guys all to the moon and back. And toodles, stay safe. And if you're traveling, be safe. And if you're cruising, I'm going to miss you even more. Bye, guys.